My beloved. Episode No. 1. My name is Amar. I have come to study in a city. I have rented a room above a house. I am 17 years old. I am studying in 11th class. I am a bit naughty by my own account, and also a bit good at studying. I have decided to study now. Today is my first day in college. I woke up early and freshened myself first. I quickly put on my college uniform, made tea. He choked comfortably. I had prepared my food the night before. I knew that I would wake up late in the morning, because I stay up late at night, and write stories on Facebook, annoys everyone. I ate my food, picked up my bag, went out of the house, turned on my bike and left for college. I was also feeling a little nervous. But when I remembered the fun of college, I got excited. I was told by family members that boys and girls study together in college. But family members said that college girls are very dirty. You should stay away from them, otherwise they will rob you. Later from your boyfriend they will also wash it. But these things have no effect on me. I had worked hard for 10 years to come to college. I went to college. My bike was parked on the stand inside the college. The security guard checked me and a slip. When I took the slip, my bike number and the security guard's signature were on it. I asked the car the time to leave for college and he said 9 o'clock. My college was supposed to start at 9 o'clock. It was now 8:42 o'clock. I thought to check my class before I went to a boy and I asked him for IC's room. He said new addition. I nodded yes. He smiled a little. He said with physics or economics. I said physics. He said go to room number 6. I said thank you very much. Named and entered. There I saw some stairs going up. I also started going up. When I reached the top, there were 2 ways, one to the right and one to the left. I said right hand, good luck. I started going inside without thinking. My beloved throwing kisses dancer. Episode number 2. I started to enter without thinking. There were rooms on both sides of this passage with pictures of girls on them. I saw that one room was open, so I tried to enter. But when I touched the door, someone put his hand on my shoulder. I got scared. He abused me 2 or 3 times and said, "What are you doing here in the girls' camp? Someone has invited you here." I said no, so he picked me up. When I looked back, there was a tall guard. His complexion was a bit dark. He angrily told me that if you see me here again, I will break your bones. He ran from there and came down. My heart was beating faster. I said, "Have she said no?" So he touched me. A boy was standing there. I asked him, "Brother, where is room number 6? He told me, "Come with me." I was also going there. I started walking with him. He took me out through the back door. I went out the back door. I saw another building in front of him. He said, "My name is Muazzam. I have done re-edition. And what is your name?" I said Amar. He said it is a good name. Asking someone to fight. I laughed a little. He said, "Come on, it's time for our first lecture." I went with him. When we reached a room, I saw that there were only boys. Girls. Katanam Vanshan was not even. I was very disappointed in my heart. I went and sat with him on a bench. When he told me that our first lecture was with a madam, my heart was in awe. I went. I thought in my heart it would be a thin blonde girl. The bell rang and a young girl with a thin waist entered the room. She had a bag in her arm. I was happy in my heart. But then later, I saw something that my happiness was lost somewhere in the jet pit. I saw that the color of this medium was black. He was wearing a black mask on his face. Islam replied. He said, "Children, today is your first day here. So today I will not give you work. Today we will introduce ourselves. Madam said, my name is Shazia, and I belong to the Christian religion. I live in Chichawatani. Now you introduce yourself one by one. We all. They introduced themselves in turn. They said there are 2 boys in our class named Amar. The madam pointed at me and said one this and another boy in the line. Then they said that with you from tomorrow, your parents will also sit. I said let's talk about my heart. In the same way, the rest of the teachers also gave their lecture and left us, returned his slip to the guard, and took my bike and left for my home. Next day again I attended the college. I was very excited today. That girls will sit with me today. I parked my bike and went to room no. I went to 6. After some time, Madam said, there is a child sitting on a bench. We all went one by one. Then Madam said, now some girls will sit with you. Madam started calling the names of each girl. A girl sits with a boy and a girl sat next to me. All of them were wearing college uniform. Only 3 girls were in burqa. The girl sitting next to me asked my name. I felt a little strange that a girl was asking me my name. He said, Amar. I took the opportunity and said, what is your name? He said, Noor. I said, very nice name. Then Madam said, everyone open your own English book. We all took out the book. Madam said, learn the first lesson. We all learned it. Madam said, this is the lesson. Button, it is about a greedy woman and a good person. How a greedy woman was ready to take the life of a stranger for money. Children, one of you should start reading it. A Baraka girl stood up. She was covered in Baraka from head to toe. Her eyes were like stars. Very sweet, very beautiful. When she started reading, what? So I found her voice like some sweet jam, honey, dates. I was infatuated by hearing her voice. Her sweet, sweet eyes and sweet, sweet voice had become a palace instead of a home in my heart. I was now beginning to regret that I look at her little face. My heart was getting restless. My heart started to sing. That you are my first desire is the last. Ma'am was teaching us all. But in my mind only that. The girl with the hijab was the only thought. The madam finished her lecture and said Allah Hafiz. I said in my heart yours too and mine too, my beloved. Episode number 3. Then there was a lecture in Urdu. Sir came to our class who was very thin. We all stood up and greeted him with Islam. It was strange. As if there was no head, a madam came to teach us. She said my name is Ijaz. I told the boys about myself yesterday. I am a simple person. I also write poetry. He further told about himself that I used to be a child like you. I was very naughty. We had a teacher who was very strict. But he believed in ghosts and black magic. Once we had a very difficult test. None of us could remember the test very well. And Ustaji prepared a protocol for us which we called special protocol. We made a plane to avoid getting hit. But many hooks were attached and some chicken blood was added and placed under the teacher's chair on the day of the test. It came too much bakla went. Then from that day they started living in a little panic. When we saw their crazy state, we felt very sad, but till today we could not even tell them that we did that mischief. Everyone got a lesson that a little joke of ours could ruin someone's life. There was a complete silence in the class. Everyone's eyes were wet. Then the head gave us the work and said that I need this work tomorrow in any condition. Let me tell you first that I do not believe in jinn etc. Sir said God Hafiz and left with his register. I was very impressed by Sir's words. My beloved. Episode 4. I stood for 10 minutes but she didn't look at me. Then I sat down tired. She went to her house and came back with a girl. I saw her going out, so I too. He quickly went down and kicked his bike and started riding behind them with his foot on the ground. She was walking forward and backward. A boy was standing on the road. He was hitting a line on each girl. Isacha said that now that boy will tease them both and I will go like a hero and scold this boy. Realizing the price, he quickly parked the bike near the boy. The girl with the beard looked at the boy angrily. Let me tell you. Then the fight started. There was slapping and punching and screaming, but I kept on fighting. Then I couldn't bear it. I said, leave me, brother. I was just joking. Then this boy. He said let's be this girl. He grabbed me and said, I have grown up. Romeo's children again. What I saw, my excitement flew away. The girl grabbed the boy's hand. The boy said, hey, my dear. The girl grabbed his fingers and twisted them. He grabbed his arm and came 3 or 4 times on the mouth. After pulling and slapping, the boy's cheeks turned red. At the same time, the girl's brother reached there. He was very young and short-tempered. He said, what teased our sister? I was afraid that I might not get washed today. This hijab girl pointed at the boy and said, this boy teased. His brothers pointed at me. He also teased you. He said no, he came to save me. The boy started to run away, but the girl's brothers caught him. The girl went with another girl. Then I saw that her brothers were making chutney for the boy. The beating was very bad. I thanked God that I was not in his place. I went and sat on my bike and returned home with a cake. I was in a little pain, but I would have beaten that boy. It was very funny to see. Harami said how well she was beaten. Then I followed her like that for some days. I also got to know her name. Her name was Sawira. One day there was no one in her house. I took advantage of the opportunity. Hoy entered her house. I saw that she was nowhere. Then I went to the upper room, so I opened the door a little. Then I saw that she was taking off her clothes. I quietly opened the door. He opened it and sat down and went under a table while walking. My beloved. Last episode. I raised the tablecloth a little and started looking at her. Then she took off her veil and also took off her gloves. Her hands were white. Then I lowered the tablecloth a little and she turned around. She had a face more beautiful than the moon. Then I looked at her feet one by one and they were also fair, 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 fair. I thought that she will be my bride now. She started walking towards the door of the room and went downstairs. Gone. I got out from under the table and lay on her bed. I hugged her bed tightly. I was having so much fun that suddenly I heard someone's footsteps. I looked at the table. There was an ironing stand, and quickly hid under it again. Someone opened the door of the room and went to the closet. I looked with a little cloth up. It was my beloved. She started walking towards me. I was scared. My hands and feet were shaking, and my heart was beating fast. She came to me and stopped and there was a hissing sound and it sounded like she was ironing the clothes. Then I gasped. 2 minutes later his hand down she was trying to grab something. I looked around and saw a box. I grabbed the box and put it towards her hand. She grabbed the box. Then a noise came from under the house. It started coming. She also went down after some time. I got out and started thinking of escape plan. Her family members came down. But I was not afraid of her family members. I was her wrestler like 2 brothers. I thought of going through the window. I saw the trap of the other house where I lived. It was looking quite close. I thought I would jump on the trap and escape easily. I ran a little behind and jumped, but I was about to reach the threshold of my house. K fell 2 steps behind him. My whole body jolted once and my legs ached. I took care of himself and started walking upstairs towards his room. I lived in his house. He asked me what happened to you. I replied that I accidentally dropped my book on the floor of the house. I went to pick up the book, so I threw it in my room. I started to go down. My foot slipped and I fell. They caught me and left me in my room. His brother also came to get my address. When he saw me, he said, "You are not the same." He was beaten and fell down that day. Then my beloved came and her brothers went and brought turmeric milk for this young man. She hurriedly brought turmeric milk and placed it near me. Then her brothers heard a voice and they left. My beloved saw me and said that you can never act straight. If I tell my brothers that you are following me, they will kill you. Anyway, I am engaged. Then my heart, he gave me something in a cloth and said that when you read this, you will get something better than me. She left. When I removed the cover of this book, it was the Quran Majid. I started reading it by heart. Then one day I was going to the market and a beggar said, "Give in the name of Allah, Allah will give you a lot." Never under a truck. Then he went ahead and I followed him behind.